Welcome to Yoga 77. My name is Jackie. We'll begin today in mountain pose. So feet about hip distance apart, spreading the toes. Notice the lift through the spine, through the crown of your head. And we'll just begin by bringing the arms up and overhead, creating length through the spine. And then just bringing them down by your side. And so you might take this movement with your breath. It might be an inhale as you float the arms up overhead. Maybe a little pause at the top of your inhale before you exhale and float the arms all the way down. We'll just take another 2 or 3 of these, just depending how fast you're moving today. And if it is available to you, the invitation is to breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. You might start to encourage the exhale to be a little longer than your inhale. Nice. And then next time you take the arms up and overhead, you're going to interlock your fingers and then push the palms up towards the ceiling. Nice. And you might feel like just keeping the arms reaching straight up overhead, or you might just start to take some little movements side to side, almost just swaying or rocking. Just notice maybe the transfer of weight from one foot to the other. Notice just creating a little bit of space through the side of your body. Maybe a slight stretch through the belly, through the abdomen, through the front body. Nice. And then come back through center. And again on your exhale, bring the arms all the way back down. Just let that go. Come back into your mountain pose. Just a moment of stillness here, just to check in. Start to notice the center of your big toe, the center of your little toe, and the center of your heel, almost like a triangle or tripod under each foot. And then see if you can bring an even weight to those 3 points under each foot. And you might start to notice the arch under each foot. So a slight lift. And if you don't feel a lift, that's okay. Just try and imagine that slight lift coming up through the arch, running up through the legs, up through the pelvis, up through your heart space, right to the crown of your head. So a sense of lift and lightness. Let's take another couple of breaths here. And then just start to transfer the weight into your right foot. Now, if the balance is a little wobbly, feel free to pause the video, go and get a chair so that you can have something to hold on to or just to lean on, maybe a wall. We're going to bring the left leg up. Option is to leave the arms by your side, maybe at heart center. If you have a little bit more space, the hands might come in behind the back of your leg, perhaps around the shin. And just finding a shape and then reconnecting to your breath. The invitation is on your next exhale to draw the leg a little closer in towards your belly. Inhaling, and then on your exhale again, drawing a little closer in towards your belly. And it might be very, very tiny, just bringing a little bit more awareness to your breath. Nice. And then from here, we're going to open out into a tree pose. And so we're taking an external rotation. The foot is going to come in towards the side leg. So your leg might be up higher. The foot could be above the knee, lower, or you could take the shape with the toes down on the ground. Wherever you are, a sense of drawing foot into your leg, leg into your foot, drawing into center. Notice the lift through the front body. Beautiful. And you might bring hands to heart center. Again, just refocusing on your breath, finding a steadiness and ease in the shape. Nice. And from here, we're going to transition and bring a little transition and come into a little rotation. So again, you might bring the leg up, or you could be working with the toes down. So we're going to bring that leg across the midline. And again, it might be a little or a little further. Again, toes can be on the ground or above, floating up off the ground. Again, you might have a hand on a wall or a chair. Now, option is to stay here, work on this shape as you are, or bring the right hand down, a little bit of an assist, a little bit more of a rotation. And then you might bring the left hand to your waist. And then a maybe is to extend the left arm out. And then you might start to take your gaze out over your left hand. Nice, and when you're ready to come out, see how slowly you can reverse the way that you came in. So really thinking about how you came into that shape. Just coming out the opposite way. Beautiful. Come back into your mountain pose, and we're going to take a chair pose. So sinking the hips down and back, try to take the weight into the heels of your feet. Like you're sitting straight down on a chair, a little tuck under of the tailbone, so lengthening through the spine. Nice, hands to heart center. And again, we'll come into a little rotation. So we're going to turn towards the right side. Nice. Now check the neck. Try and keep the chin in line with your hands. So we're not coming into a huge rotation here. Just notice how much rotation you have through your mid-body, through the thoracic spine. And you might stay here, or you might start to tilt forward and then bringing your left elbow in towards the right knee. You might have space to bring it across. Coming into your revolved chair pose. Staying for another 2 to 3 breath rounds here. Maybe just look down and check that the knees have stayed parallel to the top of the mat. Check that the left knee doesn't shoot forward. So trying to keep those hips even. Beautiful. And then come back through center. Rise all the way back up. Come back into your mountain pose. Again, just a moment to let that settle before we take it all on the second side. Maybe just checking in any differences from one leg to the other, maybe one foot to the other, one side of your body to the other side. Reconnect with your breath if you've let that go. And we'll take that on the second side. So again, we'll transfer the weight into the left foot. And we'll bring the right leg up. So again, options here, you might be holding on to something for support. You might bring the hands in behind at the back of your leg or around your shin. Just check those shoulders haven't taken over. Keep the shoulders soft away from the ears. And again, on your next exhale, draw the leg maybe a little bit closer in towards the belly. And then take your inhale. Again, on your next exhale, drawing your leg in towards the belly. Even if it's just a tiny bit, you might even just notice an activation through the abdominals, through the tummy muscles. So a sense of contracting as you exhale, drawing that leg in towards the belly. Nice, and from here again, we'll transition into tree pose. So again, you might assist finding that external rotation. You might bring the leg down first, and then come into the external rotation. And then options with the hands might be at heart center. You might have a go taking them up and overhead. And find a position for your foot against the leg. Again, like you're drawing leg to foot, foot to leg. So you're drawing in through your midline. And then notice the lift, almost a lift up through the front body. Maybe a little tucking under of the tailbone. Someone's lifting you from the very crown of your head. Reconnect to your breath, even if that just means being aware of your breath, just noticing your breath. Nice, and again, we'll transition into that, bringing the leg across the midline. So again, the foot might be higher or lower. So just see how far you can bring the leg across your midline without assistance, without the hand. Nice, and then if it's there for you, you're going to bring the left hand onto the right knee, bringing it across, maybe the right hand to your hip. And again, options here, these are all layering on. And again, you might have a hand holding onto a chair or against the wall for support. Maybe taking the arm out long, maybe taking your gaze out back over that back arm, that back shoulder, in that direction. And again, maybe another 2 to 3 breaths here. And then again, when you're ready to transition, you might bring the gaze back, bring the hand back to the hip, come out of that rotation, bring the leg down slowly. Nice, and again we'll come into chair pose. So just letting the hips sink down and back. Nice, again like you're sitting back in a chair. Nice, and we'll take the rotation to the other side this time. So again, you're coming into a rotation through the mid-body. Nice, and then options again, taking the elbow down and across the knee. Again, check that the right knee doesn't want to shoot forward. So it's like you're drawing that right hip back, trying to keep the hips even. Nice, and again we'll stay for 2 to 3 breath rounds here. And when you're ready to come out, this time come back through center and just let the hands slide all the way down your legs, bend through the knees, belly towards thighs, and we'll come into a forward fold. So you might have space for the hands to come down onto your mat. You might be up a little higher. You might have forearms on your thighs. You might bring opposite hands to opposite elbows. And wherever you are, just allow the head to be heavy. So you might take some little shakes, yes and no, or nods with the head. Maybe some sways side to side with your upper body. Again, we'll just stay for a few more breath rounds here. Just creating a little bit more space down the backs of your legs, a little bit more length through the spine. Nice, and then once you are ready to roll up, if you're holding your elbows, just let the hands go. Heavy arms, heavy hands, heavy head, shoulders. Start to roll yourself all the way back up, like you're stacking one vertebrae on top of the other. Beautiful, and again you might bring arms up and overhead. Maybe the gaze comes up, maybe a little baby back bend here. And then exhaling, hands back through heart center. And again, come back into your mountain pose. Just a moment to check in. Just recentering, just noticing any changes in your body, maybe your changes in your emotional body, your mind, your thoughts, your whole body, your physical body, your spiritual body. Might even close the eyes down here and really just take a moment just to find that stillness. Beautiful. And then just let that go. We're going to come into a wide-legged standing position. Bring the arms up like you're creating a star and allow the exhale to float the arms down. And we'll try that again. So inhaling, arms up, and then exhaling them back down. Now, invitation is to try this coming up onto your toes as you inhale, rising up, exhaling, coming back down. You might just come up a little bit, that's okay. Beautiful, maybe take a couple more like this. Again, that idea of connecting movement with breath, breath with movement, so nourishing for our nervous system. Beautiful, and then from here we're going to take a wide-legged forward fold. So again, just allow the hands to slide down your legs. You can bend through the knees a little or a lot. Again, you don't have to come all the way down. You might have hands on the legs, staying here with the head heavy, or you might start to come a little further down. Feel free to adjust the positioning of the feet, the legs. And then wherever you have settled in, just allow the head to be heavy, shoulders heavy. Just a couple more breaths here. And then you're going to roll yourself back up. So again, you can have a bend through the knees, activate through the core. Beautiful flow. Arms up, find that length and hands through heart center. And then we'll come into warrior two. So right toes turn to the top of the mat, back foot about 45-degree angle. And just try to really ground down with that back foot. Activate through the back leg so there is an even weight through both feet. Try not to dump into that front foot, knee stacked above the ankle. Beautiful. Shoulders down away from the ears. You might take the gaze out over that front hand. Just a couple more breaths here. Just notice that strength in your lower body. And you might bring in a slight activation by drawing one foot towards the other. Again, drawing into your midline. Nice. We're going to take it into extended side angle, so a little shift forward and then reaching up with the top hand. You might have space to bring the arm alongside your ear. And again, think of that length from the fingertips right down to the blade edge of that back foot. Again, you might come up on your inhale, take it back into warrior two. Nice, and we'll take it into our reverse triangle. So straightening through the front leg, lifting up, find that space, and then maybe reaching back a little. Gaze can be up, it might not be. It might be more straight ahead or down. Trying to find a shape that doesn't add any tension through your neck. Nice, and then from here we're going to windmill that top arm, bend through the front leg. Now we're going to come up on those back toes as we face the top of the mat, take an aeroplane shape. So you might stay here higher, you might start to come a little further forward. Now try not to flop the belly down onto the leg, try to keep it strong. So we're finding a shape, almost like a baby cobra with the wrapping the shoulders down and away from the ears, lifting up through the chest. Gaze is straight down at your mat. Really nice, maybe a couple more breaths. Notice your strength here. And then we'll come back up with the upper body, so the legs are staying the same. Again, you might bring the arms up and overhead, or you might bring them to your waist. So your choice here. And we're going to lower all the way down onto the back knee. See if you can come down slowly. We're going to come into low lunge. Beautiful. Again, hands can stay at your waist or maybe on the front leg. You might even have a chair for support or maybe up and overhead. So just find your low lunge shape, and then wherever you are, draw front foot back to the back leg to the front foot. So again, that idea of drawing in through the midline and then lifting up through the spine. Now from here, we're going to come in and out of our low lunge to a high lunge. So again, arms can stay up or bring the hands to the waist, your choice. And then we're going to come up and we're going to slowly lower back down. So you might not go all the way up, you might not go all the way down, but just notice your range of motion here. And maybe you take this movement with your breath. Notice which way round your breath wants to move. So you might use your inhale to come up, and it might be your exhale to lower down, but maybe your breath is the other way around. Beautiful, maybe one or two more, and once you feel done, you're going to float the arms up if they were down. Beautiful, and then we're going to push off the back foot, come to the top of your mat. Hands through heart center, really nice. And then bring the arms down, we're going to come into a halfway lift. So we're just going to tip forward again from the hip creases, like you're sticking the bottom out. And then hands to the thighs, lengthen through the spine, shoulders away from the ears. Gaze straight down at the mat. So you'll notice this stretch down the backs of the legs. If you have a little bit more space, you might come further forward. Again, we'll stay for another 2 to 3 breath rounds here. Maybe a little tuck in of that chin towards the chest. Notice the activation through the back body. Notice the toning through the belly. And then from here, see if you can come back up, keeping that long spine. Beautiful, roll the shoulders down and back, maybe a bit of a shake it out. And we'll take that on the second side. So coming into that wide-legged stance, and again, we'll come into that star shape. Again, you might exhale your arms down, and it might be an inhale as you reach out into that star shape. Nice. Again, you might have a go coming up onto your toes or the balls of your feet. Even if you just pick the heels up a little bit, or even if you just lighten through the heels, just shift the weight a little further forward. Almost like you're just imagining that lift of the heels. And again, you might encourage your exhale to be a little longer than your inhale. You might have that pause at the top, slowly exhaling down. Maybe a couple more. Just finishing off your final round or two. Maybe you might be working at a very different speed to me. Beautiful. And then again, we'll set up into that warrior two on the second side. So bending into that right knee, back foot grounded down, that back edge especially, even the little pinky toe, really draw it down. Maybe a little internal wrapping of the back leg. Again, even weight into both feet. And we'll take the arms out, roll those shoulders down and away from your ears. Gaze might go out over the front hand. And again, just notice that lift up through the front body, little tucking under of the tailbone. Maybe a couple more breaths here in your warrior two shape. I think strengthen the lower body, connection of feet to the mat. Again, you might draw the feet towards each other. And a softness through the upper body, softness through the face, through the shoulders, through the neck. Nice, and we'll take it into extended side angle, so shifting forward, come down, lift, find that length, and then maybe bringing the arm alongside to your ear. Again, gaze doesn't have to be up, really be very mindful of your neck in these shapes. Find somewhere where you can encourage length through the neck from the crown of your head all the way down the spine. Take it back up to your warrior two. Nice, we'll straighten the front leg, take it into your reverse triangle. So again, lifting up and out, and then maybe reaching back. Again, notice the connection of that front foot especially, like lengthening right to those fingertips. Beautiful, and from here we'll windmill that top arm, start to bend into the front leg. We're going to come into that aeroplane shape. So come up on those back toes. Nice, and then again we're going to come forward. So it might just be a slight lengthening forward through the heart space, through the crown of the head. Might come forward a little further. Try not to bring the belly right down to the leg. I don't want you to flop down. I want you to keep it strong. Maybe a little tuck in of the chin towards the chest. Pushing out through the sole of that back foot. Maybe a couple more breaths here. Nice, and again, we'll come through that little lunge movement. So again, hands can be up and overhead, or they might be down at your waist. We're going to lower down onto the back knee, come into that low lunge. Nice, so again, option is hands up above the head. You might have the hands on your thigh. You might have hands at your waist. Nice, and again, we'll come in and out of the shape. Again, your option with hands. I'm going to push off the back leg. We're going to rise up with control, maybe on your inhale, and then lowering down maybe on the exhale. Beautiful. We'll keep moving through these low lunge to high lunge. And again, you might not be coming all the way up, you might not come all the way down. Especially if you have pain on that, the back knee, if it doesn't feel comfortable coming right down on the ground, just keep to that hover. Can even be harder work. Maybe another one or two of these. And then once you're ready, again, you might bring the arms up overhead for this final crescent lunge or high lunge. You might bring the eye gaze up towards your hands. Lots of maybes. And then from here, we're going to step to the top of the mat. Bring the hands through heart center. Nice, and we're going to come into that halfway lift. So we're tilting forward from the hip creases. Really notice the connection of the feet to the mat, little lift up of the kneecaps, and then sticking the bottom out. So we're creating length through the spine. Shoulders are down and away from the ears, little tuck in of the chin, toning of the belly. And again, you might come a little further down, the hands might come down to the shins, even to the floor, but really think of all the activation that you can bring into this shape. So keep it strong, so we're thinking length and strength. Maybe 2 to 3 more breaths here. Again, when you're ready to come out, notice the connection of the feet to the mat. Activate through the legs, almost a lifting up just above the kneecaps, toning of the belly, and start to rise up. Take your time, roll the shoulders down and back, float arms up and overhead. Beautiful, and hands through heart center. Just come back into your mountain pose, just readjust the feet if you need to. And we'll take one final breath in together. Find that length. Palms meet, draw through your heart center. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Go well. Namaste.